So the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition case continues on, and interesting things keep happening here and there. I hope you're having a good holiday, and I got one more for you for the break. Let's dive in right now. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I hit the wrong button. You know when my content goes live. Intro time. Thanks for watching, everybody. I can't believe I hit the wrong button this time. So starting off, let's talk about this Capitol Forum post where they said Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard companies facing CMA provisional findings likely to wait for EC objections before formally proposing a remedy. And this is an in-depth news and analysis service dedicated to informing policymakers, investors, and industry stakeholders on how policy affects market competition. I don't know where they got this quote. I don't know where this came from, but I wanted to use that to talk about why Xbox has no goal. There's no positive reason for them to give anything up before they hear from what the EU regulators want, right? Why would you give everything up when you don't even know what they're going to ask for, right? So they're taking a wait and see approach. So they're going to wait and see what the regulators say, and then they're going to decide how they react to what their concerns are, if any, because this has been approved with no sort of restrictions in a few territories. Continuing on, though, this was my setup for how EU regulators are quizzing rivals on Microsoft tactics after Activision. Now, I skimmed through this story. We're going to kind of read it live here. Let's see if I can make it a little bit larger for you. I changed my overlay a little bit so things look a little bit nicer. But anyway, EU antitrust regulators have asked game developers and distributors if they think Microsoft will block access to Activision Blizzard games since it has bought the company, an EU document seen by Reuters shows. So basically, they're reaching out to people with a 91-page questionnaire asking, hey, are you worried about Activision Blizzard games after they buy the company, after they buy Activision? And some of the stuff within the 91-page questionnaire says, please specify which partial exclusivity strategy or strategies you believe Microsoft would have the ability to deploy with respect to Activision Blizzard's console games after Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, the questionnaire asked. Now, the thing is, we already know that they've committed to allowing Call of Duty for 10 years. They even have a contract ready. The contract isn't needed because that's what they're planning on doing, but there's a contract ready for Sony, who is the main person concerned. They've already presented that to Valve, who turned it down and said, we trust you. There's no reason why you would restrict access to this. Why would you throw away money? Like, yes, Steam would be totally happy to give you $1 billion a year, and PlayStation is going to keep giving you $1 billion a year, and they're even going to release it on the Nintendo platform of choice, who has signed a 10-year deal with Microsoft to begin bringing Call of Duty to the Nintendo platforms. So that's great. Continuing on, though, the EU antitrust watchdog asked if such strategies would include degrading the quality or of Activision's, I'm going to try it one more time. Interpretability, right? Oh my goodness. This word, I apologize. I'm not a professional at reading all the time. Of Activision's games available on competing consoles or providing upgrades to Activision's games only on Xbox. Now, here's the thing. I think they should offer things that are only for Xbox, like, I don't know, skins, early access to demos, you know, all the stuff Sony's been doing for the last 3 to 5 years. Xbox did it during the 360 era, and they should continue to do it, but I don't think they particularly care about having like exclusive little things. I do think that they should do that, and I hope that they do that. Other options were raising the wholesale price of Activision's games for distribution on competing consoles and making them available on competing consoles at a later date. Well, I don't think there's any indication that they're going to do that, again, especially because they have a contract on the table that, if rumors are true, I believe I did that one about the Bloomberg report. You can check out the story here, but they're even saying you can even put it on PlayStation Plus day and date. We don't care. We just want this deal to go through. We want Activision. And if they buy Activision, the number of IPs that they own will be equal to what Sony owns. And my hope for that is it's going to pressure Sony to improve their services. I think they could do a lot better job with PlayStation Plus than they are. They've done some positive things in that respect. They relaunched it this year, and then they just did nothing with it. They could continue to improve it, and I think that they should. Companies were also asked if Microsoft should make some of Activision's gaming content and features exclusively available only on Xbox, but not on competing consoles. I think what they should do, again, is exactly what Sony has done. I think they should have timed exclusive demos. Like recently, there was the demo only available on PlayStation for a few days, and then it came to Xbox, and then it came everywhere on PC, right? I think they should do that. I think they should have exclusive skins. PlayStation even has had exclusive missions. I think stuff like that is totally fine, and I think that is a smart strategy. The document also included a question about Activision's Call of Duty, asking which video game franchise is considered the most important for a console game distributor to offer, and what other main alternatives are there to Call of Duty. I mean, off the top of my head, Apex Legends, Fortnite, Battlefield, Rainbow Six, Destiny, which Bungie owns. There's a lot of shooter type games that compete within that space, and they're available on all platforms. So yes, there are other properties. Regulators asked what advantages and disadvantages game developers and publishers and console game distributors would face if a game is distributed exclusively on one console. That's not going to happen, but if it were to happen, I mean, it just means more people might buy your console, and that's what Sony has been doing for a long time. Final Fantasy 16, I'm going to be playing that on my PlayStation 5. I cannot wait for that game. It looks more like a traditional Final Fantasy. I'm super stoked for it. And you know what? A lot of people are going to have that same sentiment had Call of Duty been exclusive to Xbox or the other IPs that Activision Blizzard owns. And I think that's okay. I think that's okay that it happens. But to say that it's okay when we do it, for Sony to say it's okay when we do it, but when you do it, it's bad. No. Sorry, that's business. They also wanted to know the impact for competition between cloud game streaming services and the combined Activision portfolio were to become available as part of such service. I think it would be very positive for Microsoft. I don't know that it would have any negative effects for Sony because Sony doesn't do a ton of cloud gaming. They have some stuff, but nowhere near the scale that Microsoft or Xbox does. Rival providers of PC operating systems were asked if Microsoft would have the technical... That's an orange ad? What is this ad? Buy a slice. Oh, stocks. Okay. Sorry. The orange ad was very distracting. Good job, Fidelity. Rival providers of PC operating systems were asked if Microsoft would have the technical ability to prevent Activision games from being compatible with non-Windows operating systems. Now, that's a good one because they actually point out that there are some games, I believe World of Warcraft was listed, that are available on Mac that potentially Microsoft could say, we're not going to support the Mac platform anymore after this deal goes through because it's a rival operating system. Actually, I mean, like whatever revenue that they're making there, I'm sure is enough that they would be like, we don't care that it's distributed on Mac, but that is an interesting question to ask. Microsoft says it continues to work with the Commission to address any valid marketplace concerns. Sony, as the industry leader, says it's worried about Call of Duty, but we've said we are committed to making the game available on the same day on both Xbox and PlayStation. We want people to have more access to games, not less, a Microsoft spokesperson said. And the gotcha with that one is, well, what about Bethesda, right? I do find that interesting, and I don't think they have a solid response for that for regulators. And that is the one thing that the FTC is latching onto, the fact that they said, well, we don't really have any reason to make games exclusive, but Starfield, which to be fair was never announced for other platforms, is now exclusive. Redfall is exclusive, same story there. But the real concerns are the Fallout games and the Elder Scrolls games, which previously were released on multiple platforms and going forward will be only available on Xbox. I think Call of Duty, the one difference is it's like Minecraft. It's too big to pull off of other platforms and only release on the Xbox ecosystem, so they don't really have a lot of incentive to do that. As a matter of fact, you know what they're actually eyeing up? Their next thing that they're targeting is Netflix. Netflix will be on Microsoft's shopping list. Now imagine if Netflix ended up being part of your Game Pass subscription and then the Game Pass subscription price went up. To me, that is a big value add. And I've seen this Netflix story shopped around, but I might cover it in a different video. Anyway, that's what the EU regulators are asking other people within the marketplace. And I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. So let me know what you think about all that in the comments below. You can go through each question and put your responses like number 1, number 2, number 3, and then we can check them out maybe in a future video. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. You know what? The channel has been growing a lot. I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed. I do this every video because I can see on the back end that there's still a huge percentage of people not subscribed. So I'm going to keep doing it until that's like 90%. Or I hit 100,000 subscribers. I'll tell you what, when I hit 100,000 subscribers, maybe I'll do that subscribe thing less because I see people complain about it sometimes, but I try and make it a little bit fun. You know what else I need to do? Thank the members that support this channel. Thank you so much for supporting the work that I do. You know, here, it's just something I sort of do for fun. I really like reading through these news stories with you. Hit that join button to know when my content goes live. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to get out of here, but if you want to see the last video that I did about what is going on with these gamers that sued Microsoft to block this deal, you can check that out right here. Hit that subscribe. It's on one of these sides usually. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.